Delight.
Superb.
Let go of music, as of tunes blown tremulous in glass. Delight!
Dazzle.
Right!
Surprise.
Slide!
Tooth.
Nibble!
Too right.
Success! Tell all the truth, but tell it slant.
Success in circuit lies.
Too bright for our infirm delight.
The truth's superb surprise.
As lightning to the children eased,
With explanation kind.
The truth must dazzle gradually.
or every man be
Blind. As lightning to the children eased with explanation kind. There's a story behind that line. Edward Dickinson, the father. Austin Dickinson, Emily's older brother. You're 5. Emily, age 2. Vinny, Emily's younger sister, a newborn. Aunt Lavinia Norcross, sister to their convalescing mother, who is too sick to care for her 3 small children.
Again, the baby needs to nurse again. Austin, share with your sister. Share.
You need help, Edward.
It would have starved a gnat to live so small as I.
It's the only reasonable thing to do. I shall take little Emily until her poor mother recovers.
We can manage. We can manage.
The nursery is no place for stoics, Edward. It has been decided. Come. Come, my child.
Emily, go take Emily.
And yet I was a living child, with food's necessity upon me like a claw.
I'll share, I promise I'll share.
Oh, lightning! Look! Look, it's way up in the sky. It won't hurt you.
Lavinia wrote to us. We passed through a tremendous storm on the way home. I don't think the dear little one had ever seen lightning. But when I told her not to fear, she called it
Fire!
The first recorded word of the poet.
The lightning was as new as if the cloud that instant slit and let the fire through.
Your Emily, like Prometheus, is a fire stealer.
But a girl should aspire to Hera, not Prometheus.
You love to play in the garden with your brother. You're about 8 years old. Let's do a scene
When I was a boy. Prithee, my brother, come.
Let's roam the sovereign wood.
Can I come too?
No, Vinny, you're too little.
And you're not a boy.
There is another sky, ever serene and fair.
And there is another sunshine, though it be darkness there.
Never mind faded forests, Austin, never mind silent fields. Prithee, my brother,
Into my
garden Here is a little forest whose leaf is evergreen.
Here is a brighter garden where not a frost has been.
Beneath the fading flowers, I hear the bright bees hum. Prithee, my brother, into my garden come. Prithee, my brother, into my garden
Oh, now, children, no shoes, no coats, no sense. How many times have I told you?
You'll catch your death of cold.
Inside at once. Emily, Elizabeth, you are a young lady. You're not a boy.
Yes, father.
You'll be the best little girl in town.
Yes, the best, father. They put me in the closet because they like me still. They shut me up in rows as when a little girl. They put me in one closet because they liked me still.
How orderly the kitchens look by night with just a clock. But they can gag the tick. And mice won't bark. So the walls don't tell. None will. Emily, you're 13. Vinny, 11. Austin,
15.
rebellious youth.
It's not fair. You get to wear boots up to your knees, and I get the foliage admonition.
The foliage admonition.
Emily, you must turn over a new leaf.
Em, what have you gotten yourself into this time?
Mud! She got her dress all muddy. See?
I suppose I'll be kept home from school tomorrow because it's too muddy.
Well, of course, my dear. You mustn't go if it's muddy.
But if I don't go, the new leaf I will be turning over is Chapter 5 of You Know What.
Chapter 5? How did you get to Chapter 5 already?
Because I didn't do the crochet work Mother asked me to do.
Oh, so it wasn't just the muddy leaf.
No, it was the same old, you can't fill your hope chest with words. Do you know how excruciatingly boring it is to tie knots and tie knots and tie knots with a stick like some kind of aborigine?
I like crochet.
Housework dries my soul to a prune.
And once pruned, there's no worry about the new leaf. Where'd you hide the book?
I'm not telling.
Come on.
No, I'm not telling.
Where is it?
Not till you've done your crochet.
Stop! You're hurting her! It's in the piano.
Piano, brilliant!
We passed the school where children play, their lessons scarcely done. Amherst Academy, founded in 1814 by Samuel Fowler Dickinson, Edward's father. Edward is a trustee for most of his adult life. The school provides a distinguished education for both boys and girls. Susan Gilbert, one of the girls.
Of all the souls that stand create, I have elected one. Behold the atom I preferred.
The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door to her divine majority, presents no more. I've known her from an ample nation. Is it true? Then close the valves of her attention. Close herself like stone.
Susan.
Emily?
Oh, Sue. I need you, Sue. Oh, how I do. I really, really do.
What the dickens does a Dickinson need the likes of me for?
Because my circumferences get so confused in my circumlocution and it all goes circuitously. I need you to
Circumnavigate.
precisely.
And circumstantially, we're talking about...
Geometry. Will you help me with geometry? You're so good at it and I am not.
But we finished geometry.
Oh, it's not for the academy. I'm preparing for the entrance exams for Mount Holyoke.
The seminary?
Lucky you. Lucky. To have to stand up in front of all the professors, the trustees, and half the town too, I suppose, and display my utter ignorance of pi. It makes me nervous. And having to live away from home, I'm not sure I fancy that.
That's because you're so lucky to have a home, a real home.
Oh, I know. What about you? What will you do when you finish at our beloved academy?
My aunt in New York has offered to help me go to Utica College.
Oh, wonderful! Shh. I shall go to Mount Holyoke, and you to Utica. Oh, but you must keep Amherst in your circuit. You must come back.
Must I? Little old humdrum Amherst. Don't look so sad. Of course I'll come back. Shall we look at your geometry?
Yes. Onward with Utica, Euclid, and the zoo!
Ring for the scant salvation, toll for the bonny souls. Mount Holyoke Female Seminary!
Today is very important in your life and education at Mount Holyoke Seminary. For today, we focus on our spiritual endeavors. I have had conversations with each of you regarding your faith. Some of you have been saved. Others have hope of being saved. And then there are those without hope. Those without hope have a great deal of work to do, or a miserable eternity is before you. Please, step forward to receive your spiritual classification.
Emily Lavinia Norcross.
You, my child, have been saved.
Emily Elizabeth Dickinson.
Emily Elizabeth Dickinson. No hope.
I often get to thinking of eternity, and it seems so dark to me that I almost wish there was no eternity.
But heaven is eternity. And heaven sounds wonderful.
To think that we must live forever and never cease to be, as if heaven were a prison.
Restrain your feelings. Put the screws on all thoughts that lead you astray. Do not spend time on idle fancies. Open your hearts to our Savior. Let us pray.
Our Father, who art in
Prayer is the little implement through which men reach where presence is denied them. They fling their speech by means of it in God's ear within hear. There's something apparatus that's comprised in prayer.
That's all you can have the glory forever.
Or forever. Oh, man. Oh, Emily, I got 3 Valentines. How many did you get?
None.
Don't worry. You shall.
Yes, I shall be the belle of Amherst and have perfect crowds of admirers. How I shall delight to make them await my bidding. In the meantime, I shall write Austin and beg him to find someone to send me a valentine.
Brother, it's going to be very useful.
Girls, it is the study hour. Idle speech, idle souls. Miss Dickinson, a word with you, please. You have not been coming to our meetings. Now, how do you expect to make any progress if you do not come to the meeting?
I study my Bible. I hope to make progress by
Studying the Bible is not the same as studying chemistry.
Oh, no, of course not. The equations are different.
My dear, we all struggle. Even I struggle. I want to help you, my dear. How am I to cultivate your divine hope? The meeting is starting. Please, come to the meeting.
Hope is a strange invention. I had hoped to get a valentine. Hope is a subtle glutton. He feeds upon the fair, and yet inspected closely, what abstinence is there? His is the halcyon tale being that never sees but one love. Whatsoever is concealed, so last. Then the same amount we name. Hope is a subtle glutton. Why did they shut me out of heaven? Did I sing too loud?
Girls, to your rooms. Silent study hours until the retiring bell.
Myself felt ill and odd.
As berry of a mountain bush transplanted to the road.
Oh, you poor thing, you sound very ill. Can I get you something?
What are you writing?
A letter to Miss Lyon. I find her so inspiring, don't you? Would you like me to say something to her from you?
About my cough.
I was thinking more about your conversion.
Better to write about my cough than my conversion.
I had hoped I might have good news to report with regard to Emily Elizabeth Dickinson, but she appears to be unchanged.
Austin. Oh, Austin, Austin. I miss you so much. Oh, how is everyone? Vinny?
Fine.
Father?
Busy?
Mother?
A bit under the weather.
Oh, thank goodness, nothing's changed.
Oh, but Tim, how are you? You are so thin and so pale. Poor thing. You are sick.
Is that why you came, to see if I'm sick?
One of your friends wrote to Father. He asked me to come and fetch you.
Take me home. But it's the middle of the term. Besides, my skirts are not the least bit muddy. I'm not going home.
Father expects me to bring you home.
It's humiliating. Coming to take me away because my friend snitched on me. Besides, I'm getting better.
Oh, you look about as healthy as Ichabod Crane.
It's not just the cough. They pray every morning to an eclipse they call our Father. Who are the Father and the Son anyway, and what have they to do with us?
Emily, how can you ask such a thing? They are to save us. They are the hope. If one does not achieve heaven, where will one be?
What if one does achieve heaven? Without hope?
Rather embarrassing.
Sometimes I don't go to meeting just so that I can be alone. There's no kitchen, no Austin, no place to hide here.
It's not just here. It's everywhere. Not even our kitchen is so pleasant, what with Mother converted and wants Father to convert as well.
You and I can laugh about it, but I don't always find it funny. My reason, earth is short,
And anguish absolute, and many hurt. But what of that? I reason we could die.
The best vitality cannot excel decay.
But what of that?
But what of that?
I reason that in heaven somehow it will be even some new equation given. But what of that?
But what of that?
Open it.
No, it's too vile.
I don't think you get to die just yet.
But I might, now that you're leaving me and Father won't let me go back to school.
A tutor. Emily needs a tutor.
A joyous going fellow, I gathered from his talk. Edward, Joseph Lyman, a good friend of Austin's from school.
Now, Joseph, you understand, Mrs. Dickinson is in frail health. I won't sleep well unless I know we have a male presence in this house. I would like to ask you to stay here when Austin and I are away.
I am delighted to be your boarder.
Oh, no, not as a boarder, as a friend of the family.
That's too generous.
Well, you can help out by tutoring our daughters. But remember, educating the female sex is a delicate matter. I've outlined the precautions you are to take.
Shakespeare. Which, may I ask, are you reading?
The Taming of the Shrew.
Oh, as I recall, there's a fair amount of bawdy language in that one.
Oh, you think so?
Does Mr. Dickinson approve?
Undoubtedly not.
Joseph! Oh, there you are. Are you ready to tutor me?
Why, yes, of course.
Oh, sit down then.
Where are your books?
I haven't any.
Then what am I to tutor you in?
Kisses? I have a lot to learn.
Petruchio! Come, sit on me! Catherine, asses are made to bear, and so are you. Petruchio, women are made to bear, and so are you. Oh, is that the kind of passage we're concerned about?
Austin! Your sisters are not at all what I expected.
I cannot be ashamed, because I cannot see the love you offer. Benjamin Franklin Newton, apprentice in Mr. Dickinson's law office. Mr. Dickinson appreciates your good company and often asks you home to dine.
A lawyer.
And a Unitarian. You're going to need this. Oh, and you and Emily have taken more than a few long walks together.
Benjamin, welcome. It's always so nice when you can join us. Oh, what have you there?
Oh, this is for Emily.
Oh, Emerson. Not sure I approve of that. The last thing we need from our women is their opinion on matters of controversy. We need our women to offer support, not shower us with wise reasonings and learned arguments. They have enough consciousness of superiority. Give them something like this to read, and they shall never cease to pour their cant upon us.
But this is poetry.
Oh, poetry. Well, then I don't suppose it can stir much controversy. Please, come in.
Benjamin Newton.
You're looking beautiful tonight. I brought you a book. Your father says you may have it.
That is not a recommendation, you know.
So I gathered. Poems by Ralph Waldo Emerson.
He writes poetry. I only knew of his lectures and essays. Evil will bless and ice will burn. Oh, I better hide this.
I thought of our last conversation. How you are searching.
Yes.
For something.
Other than unpalatable religious prescriptions. You should take care of that cough. I know, I have such a cough.
Don't worry, I'm fine.
Yes, you are fine. Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you. These words, I can already taste them.
parents delight or pain? Could bounty but remain, riches were good. But if they only stay bolder to fly away, riches are sad. Spooling yarn? You're 20.
Oh, 20 must be an awfully fearful position to occupy. I don't care if I'm young or not. It might be a comfort to have a piping voice and a broken back and scare little children.
Emily!
I'm just saying. To be old doesn't seem so sad.
Well, I'm sad, but not because I'm old. I wish Joseph hadn't left.
But Austin is returning home. We don't need a guard dog.
Emily, Joseph was not a guard dog. I liked Joseph.
Yes. And if Father had been here to see how much you like him, I'm sure he would have been booted out long ago.
Well, you can't talk. I saw you with Benjamin Newton.
Saw what? Talking, yes, but you never saw me sitting on his lap.
Just because I didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Well, it didn't. Besides, he has a fiancée.
He does?
Vinny? He's 29 years old.
Oh, north winds do blow!
You're back, Emily! Oh, we missed you terribly. Let me take your coat.
Not so fast.
You're hiding something. Longfellow! Oh, Kavanaugh!
It's to share.
If you've read the first chapter, then it's my turn.
Almost. I'll put it in the piano when I'm done.
No, Father knows about the piano.
I forgot I had a book in it, and I sat down to play.
Surely by now he's given up on keeping books out of your hands.
Would Father ever give up on one of his principles? He gives me books, but then he tells me not to read.
How's Mother?
Oh, you take her food? Oh, it's too much. You always bring me too much. But she eats. Oh, I had more of an appetite than I thought. Would you mind bringing me a little more? You bring some more? Oh, no, I can't, really. I can't sit up any longer. Take it away. You leave? She rings. But a little tea would be nice. Oh, just a little.
Father continues in his profession as lawyer, and Mother continues in hers as a perennial plaintiff.
A marriage of convenience. I saw our neighbor just now.
Old vinegar bottle.
She was all worried and fussy about Mother.
They just want an invitation to the college trustee tea. Not that hard to read between the puckered lips.
And she's hoping her daughter might pucker her lips for you.
Yes. There is not only aged vinegar, there is younger vinegar as well.
Young vinegar usually is wine.
And the caliber of the grape determines the taste of both. I don't think it's tea and biscuits she cares about, but rather wine and wafer. She just wants to convert us.
Heathens, all of them.
Maybe not all. Now that the church has moved the meetings from the vestry basement to the academy, Father says it's not so dingy and he is willing to attend. I get dragged along when I can't find a proper excuse.
Well, excuses, my dear, are all improper.
Oh, it's your turn. No, it's not. I just took her tea.
God will take note of your good humor.
Oh, clearly you two will never be saved.
But you'll visit us, won't you, Vinny, when we're in hell?
Oh, don't count on it.
I hear Susan Gilbert is back in town.
Oh, we must have her over.
Yes, we must.
Austin, no fair. I get to read the first...
I think it's your turn.
Oh.
You are in mourning. One of your sisters has just died in childbirth. You're living in Amherst with another married sister, Hattie Cutler.
Oh, Sue. Sweet Sue. Death leaves us homesick. Pain expands the time. You have all my sympathies.
Thank you, Emily.
Susan, welcome back to bustling Amherst.
Bustling? You call this bird bustling?
Ambling Amherst?
Austin, you should put your book down when we have visitors.
It's just a ploy to get the book out of my hands, you see.
No, I've already read that.
Bleak House? Look, sounds like where I'm living. My sister's husband worries more about the welfare of the chimneys than about any of us. It's all about keeping the fire stoked. We share a hearth, but I would hardly call it a home.
Then you must come here often. Nothing bleak about our house. At least not at the moment when we are all here.
Is it worth reading?
Oh, it is like he who wrote it.
Emily's summaries are parsed and pointed, leaving no edge for argument.
All the better, for who wants to argue when we have a guest?
Oh, look, it's Susan.
we should have tea. Emily, you haven't offered tea? You will have tea, won't
Tea
you?
would be lovely if it isn't too much trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble for me. Vinny! Well, if it weighs more than a pencil, Emily doesn't deign to pick it up.
Oh, with the endlessness of housework, I understand. Some days I feel life revolves around a spool of Coates cotton, as if that were the center of mental and moral life.
Oh, you see. Finally, a woman of sense and sensibility.
Now there's a book that deserves more than a sentence for summary.
All well and good, but the tea.
The tea. I leave you to Austin.
So do you expect to remain in Amherst?
I hope to find a teaching position,
Oh, yes, so do I.
but there aren't many to be found here. Not for a woman, anyway.
Oh, but you, a woman of your talent, your intelligence, you will be wanted, you will be desired.
She sweeps with many-colored brooms and leaves the shreds behind.
No, the housework I will always have with me. But you, I will not always have you.
As long as you're not leaving everything to Vinny.
Oh, Vinny is sewing away like a fictitious seamstress. Now, you haven't told me enough about Utica and Geneva and the convention at Seneca Falls. Did you go? Oh, did you hear Katie Stanton?
No, but I was lucky to be in the crowd of women who walked down the street with Elizabeth Blackwell.
The woman going to Geneva Medical College. Father was furious about that.
Many men are.
Emily, you left all the dishes. I'm not going to do them for you. I'm in the middle of this.
Vinny, forgive me. I interrupted Emily. I know what it's like when a sister doesn't do her share. I should be going now.
Oh, housewife in the evening west, come back and dust the pond.
If recollecting were forgetting,
Then I remember not.
and if forgetting recollecting,
How near I had forgot.
and if to miss were merry,
And if to mourn were gay.
Susan, I've been missing you.
I have been rather housebound lately, not by choice.
Well, now that you're out, and it's such a beautiful day, would you take a ride with me?
Just the two of us.
My sisters have been beckoned by the bells upstairs, and Mother, as usual, is barely fit for her own company, much less that of anyone else, and Father's in Congress. It leaves only me.
I have no objection to only you. But my sister has made it very clear that my black dress must advertise both my mourning and the decorum of a nunnery.
Ah, but I happen to know that the way to the nunnery does not pass by your sister's house. I shall fetch the carriage.
how very blithe the fingers that gathered these today.
What do you have there? Indian pipes, oh, my favorite. How did you know?
I didn't.
I call them ghost flowers, hard to find, tucked away in secret places. Oh, amazing, white from tip to toe. Show me where you found them, will you?
I haven't time. I have to go take care of my sister's squabbling children. Can't tell you how I long for the day when I shall be free from that family.
Oh, my poor Sue, we must take care of
But
you.
never mind. When I found these, I thought immediately of you.
And when I look at them, I shall think only of you.
One life of so much consequence, yet I for it would pay my soul's entire income in ceaseless salary.
Oh, Austin. Poor Sue. Her life so unhappy. We must rescue her from that dragon of a sister.
An ogre of a brother-in-law? A ladder made of sheets and a carriage waiting round the corner.
No, I don't mean that kind of rescue. We need to do some uplifting. Her family dampens her spirit so. Austin, what are you reading? Oh, that's my book, my Emerson.
I was taught to share.
And I was taught not to steal.
Do you think Susan would enjoy reading Emerson? Emerson
The Transcendentalists. We'll give her Emerson.
and Thoreau.
Coming, Mother! There is no frigate like a book to take us lands away.
And speaking of which, may I have it back, as you are busy?
I must admit, I do rather like the idea of escape by ladder and carriage.
Read, sweet, how others strove, till we are stouter. What they renounced, till we are less afraid.
Susan, have you had a chance to read the essays I gave to you?
I keep them in my apron pocket, and I read them every chance I get.
Oh, that I were Emerson in your apron pocket.
Austin!
Emily adores Emerson.
He is brilliant, no doubt. But I have some quarrel with his complete antagonism to Christianity.
I found that refreshing.
Refreshing? Austin, is it possible you are not converted?
No, none of us are, except for Mother. Is that a problem?
We noticed smallest things overlooked before.
Oh, Sue, I love it. The woman is the better man.
You read the Princess?
Oh, with raspberry jam.
Oh, isn't Tennyson wonderful? I love his idea of a university for women.
Delicious. I apologize about the jam. Unfurl the maiden banner of our rights.
Of course, who knows when we're going to get those rights?
They're all afraid if we get to vote, we'll end up electing ourselves.
The world might be a better place.
Well, it certainly would be if you were in charge. Sue, the most noble Sue. If I could vote, I would vote for you.
As much as I love Tennyson's story, I prefer to leave politics to men like your father.
Yes, and leave you to me.
The suburbs of a secret a strategist should keep. Better than on a dream intrude to scrutinize the sleep.
Does Emily know about us?
You begged me not to tell her.
So you are a man of your word.
If I am a Dickinson, I am a man of my word.
May you always be a Dickinson, then.
Maybe you will be one someday, too.
You are as impetuous as your sister. Patience is a virtue.
You must school me in the virtues, Sue, for you know, by virtue of being a Dickinson, I am lacking.
You are not lacking in virtues.
Just overloaded with vice.
Austin.
Was that wrong? I don't mean to intrude. Oh, but Sue, my precious Sue, I find it very hard to resist.
Austin, you know, I would feel much safer if you belonged to the church.
I read the Bible again after you and I read it together. But, I just can't think as you do.
Call me an obstinate sinner, but am I?
The wind pursued the little bush and drove away the leaves November left, then clambered up and fretted in the eaves.
Oh, Sue, Austin is going away. He just heard today he will be teaching at Sunderland. Oh, I hate it when Austin is away. There's a big draft in the house and never enough books. You must come more often, will you? And keep bringing books and your tender face and keep me company.
Lucky Austin to have found a way out of Amherst.
Some keep the Sabbath going to church,
I keep it staying home.
with a bobolink for a chorister,
And an orchard for a dome.
Austin, I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you, my Sue.
How will we write? I can't have letters coming to the house. My sister will be
Don't worry,
suspicious
don't
if she
worry. They won't appear to be from me.
The ever-clever Dickinson. Have you thought about what we talked about?
I've been thinking about Vespers. Does that count?
Chestnuts.
Every evening, at the stroke of the Vesper bell, you will stop everything and eat one of these, and I will do the same.
At the stroke of the Vesper bell?
Yes. Wherever you are, wherever I am, I will be tasting chestnut and thinking of you, and you will be tasting chestnut and thinking of me. Communion.
How still the bells in steeples stand.
Susan, she is a stranger yet. That is held by no birds, that goes on over less, 6 years over less, the nearer
and I was at meeting, all my thoughts were of you. I could not find a chink where to put the worthy pastor. When he said, "Our Heavenly Father," I said, "Oh, darling Sue." And when they sang, I made up words and kept singing how I love you.
I hope no one heard you.
Oh, I sang so small. And I asked God to forgive me, as he'll have to many times if he lives long enough. Oh, for where would I be without my sparkling Sue? Oh.
You are such a child, such an impish little girl.
And you are my dolly. Come up to my room.
A stranger yet, less the nearer, less the nearer, have never scaled her mountain, nor compromised her.
No, I must go.
When will I see you?
I don't know. There's so much to do for Thanksgiving, and it's going to be so dreary. It's our first.
We'll rescue you.
But I have to be there.
After dinner. We'll come and get you for the evening. Please.
One day is there of the series termed Thanksgiving Day, celebrated part at table, part in memory.
For health and strength and daily strength and health and strength and daily bread, so health and strength and strength and daily bread, so much to be thankful for. Austin, back from Sunderland for the holiday, and Vinny free from school, and our steadfast Emily home and in good health. My only regret is that Mrs. Dickinson is indisposed. A warm welcome to our guests, the lovely Susan Gilbert, and my favorite young colleague Benjamin, and Joseph, almost one of the family.
My second home. And to you, Mr. Dickinson, and to your family, thank you for your boundless hospitality. Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving!
Joseph, you're looking rather thin. You ought to come around more often.
So you can fatten me up? Just send an invitation. I won't turn you down.
And I've been saved.
Saved?
Yes. I'm a devout disciple of Emerson.
You had me worried.
I've never read poetry like his.
He gives us something new, private.
Yes, and intimacy.
What are you two whispering about over there? They're always whispering. I don't think it's polite. Do you, Joseph?
Well, it all depends.
Well, you're a success. Father likes you.
I like him.
He shows best in company.
You see, We're not the only ones who whisper. Oh, my two favorite people. We're all here. This is life as it should be.
Emily, Vinny, your mother would like to hear you play the piano.
Oh, but we haven't practiced.
No, yes, I heard you play the other day. You played it, right?
We'll put it to a vote. Oh, then some cider with a spike of brandy. Nothing like brandy for the cough.
Emily tells me you have a teaching credential from Utica College.
Yes, I hope to teach mathematics. Robert Archer School in Baltimore has been recommended to me.
Well, why not teach here at our Amherst Academy?
Father Susan wishes to see something other than Amherst.
Ah, restless youth. It pains me to lose good people from our fine enclave. Well, shall we?
I will arrange to take you home. Don't encourage anyone to come with us.
Whenever I hear Mozart, I always think there's a true transcendentalist.
I'm afraid Mozart would have to work awfully hard to transcend what you just heard. Music is not my calling. I want to write poetry, but there is no approval.
For nonconformity, the world whips you
With displeasure. Yes, I read that too. It seems it would be easier were I not a woman.
Don't let that stand in your way. If poetry is what you desire, then you shall be a poet.
And will you be my master? My teacher?
Listen to Emerson. Do your work, and you shall reinforce yourself.
Finite to fail, but infinite to venture.
New Orleans?
Yes, I have a job there. I thought you'd be excited for me.
Oh, for you, yes. But for me?
Your father has helped immeasurably. I'll be district attorney.
In Worcester.
It's a fine opportunity.
Oh, well deserved, my friend. Well deserved.
Yes, I have the position at Archer Academy.
So, you will be prepping the young beauties of Baltimore. And I will be in Boston wrangling unruly Irish rogues.
Everyone is leaving, Vinny.
Superiority to fate is difficult to learn. Austin in Boston. Emily in Amherst. Sue away in Baltimore. The face we choose to miss, be it but for a day, as absent as 100 years when it has rowed away. Your Dolly.
I wept a tear here, Susie, on purpose for you. Because this sweet silver moon smiles in on me, and then she goes so far before she gets to you. Oh, she looks like a fairy tonight, sailing around the sky in a little silver gondola with stars for gondoliers. I asked her for a ride and told her I would get out when she got as far as Baltimore. I'm sending rice cakes.
Not less than 15 moons since we have known the sun of our love. It is as if we were almost but one person.
Susie, you must be faint from teaching those stupid scholars. Oh, I hope you whip them, Susie. For my sake, whip them hard whenever they don't behave just as you you want.
Dearest, we have shared our chestnuts.
I'm sending chestnuts.
Now, we will read our Bibles at the same hour, 9 o'clock. And we will lay down to sleep at the same hour, 10 o'clock. We will be dreaming together.
Never mind the letter I ask for, Susie. For I know how busy you are and how little of that dear strength to think and write remains when it is evening.
Oh, Sue, this beautiful, beautiful day. When I ought to be so happy, and yet when I am so miserable. No one to talk with me.
Oh, my darling one. How weary I grow of waiting and looking and calling for you. I'm sending my fruitcake.
How I wish I could bury my head in your lap and ask you to pray for me.
Here in dear Susie's bosom, I know, is love and rest. Will you be kind to me, Susie? Nobody loves me here. I brush away big tears, so hot that they burn my cheeks and almost scorch my eyeballs.
Emily? Emily? Oh, writing again? To whom?
Sue?
Sue? Sue, always writing to Sue. And does she ever write to you? I know, I bring the mail in. She's too good for all of us.
Vinny, how can you say such a thing? She suffers much more than any of us.
And lets us know it, too.
Susie, just write me every week one line. And let it be, Emily, I love you.
As God permitted me to set you in my heart, grow into its every fiber, become a part of it, only then to tear you away, leaving me mangled, bleeding, and dying.
Oh, Sue, I will try to tell you how very dear you are, but the words won't come. My reason is all gone from me.
I love you, with a love that has almost driven me wild.
I fear that I must make a hospital for the hopelessly insane and chain me up so that I won't injure you. A good many things have happened. Benjamin Newton got married, bless him. And Joseph suffers from the heat in New Orleans. But first you, tell me everything.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I take your hat? Would you like some tea? Shall we? It's a beautiful day. Shall we sit on the back steps like we used to and be children again? Oh, Sue, you're here. What? What is it?
There's a lot on my mind and in my heart.
Oh, poor dear Sue, of course there is. The mind lives on the heart like any parasite. If that is full of meat, the mind is fat.
Those are the things I love you for.
My trifles, my baubles, my pedantry, pentameter. I have decided, did I tell you? You are my muse. Without you, I would be a catatonic cat. Oh, but I'm doing all the talking, and you're the one with a full heart and hungry thoughts.
Emily, you know Austin has been much on my mind.
Oh, of course. He's your brother, the same as mine. What does Austin have to say?
When we met in Boston.
Oh, if I were to just stay at home, I would have been there with you. Oh, lucky you to see him in Boston. Did you go to Harvard? Did you see the law school? Is it impressive? Oh, it must be so impressive. I've been to the
Harvard
architecture.
is beautiful, the architecture, the Charles. He's so fortunate to be there.
What? Is there something wrong? With Austin? I can't lose Austin.
No, Emily, no. We're engaged.
We're?
Austin and I. We are engaged. That's what happened in Boston.
You're... Oh! So, you are my sister. Oh, you are to be my sister. Oh, yes, yes. You're going to be in our family forever, forever and ever. I won't lose you. You will always be here, Susan Dickinson. Oh, I knew. I always knew that you belonged to me, to us, to all of us. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Her bonnet is a firmament, her universe, her shoe. The stars are trinkets at her back. The stars are trinkets.
Minnie, where are you going?
To get Emily. Maybe she can talk some sense into Austin.
Benny, stop. This is not for us to decide.
But I can't believe you would want to get married in Geneva in some stranger's house.
It's Susan's Aunt Sophie. She's not a stranger.
She's a stranger to us.
Yes, but she is family to Susan, the bride.
And what are we? Haven't we taken her in, embraced her? An orphan as one of the family? Father, even Father.
Even Father thinks of her as family.
I didn't want to have to say this, but it seems that I must. Susan does not want to have a wedding in a house with an invalid in it.
I see. Well, I see.
I'm sorry, Father. Mother's condition puts a pall on the house.
Well, I'm sure we shall all be sorry to miss it.
You don't have to miss it.
Now look what you've done.
Well, what I've done? What I've done? All that I have done is try to please people. And we have put our wedding date off for one thing or another for the past 3 years, Benny. And after all of our hopes of moving away and starting anew, we're going to live next door. Because
Father won't have it any other way.
The wedding is one day in our life. Certainly we're allowed that freedom.
Emily, did you hear?
Everything. I heard everything. There is a pain
So utter.
It swallows substance up, then covers the abyss with trance. So memory can step around, across, upon it, as one within a swoon goes safely, where an open eye would drop him, bone by bone.
Austin and Susan are married in Geneva, New York, on July 1st, 1856.
None of us are there.
I felt a funeral in my brain.
And mourners to and fro
Kept treading till it seemed that
Sense was breaking through.
And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, beating, till I thought my mind was going numb.
And then I heard them lift a box
And creak across my soul.
with those same boots of lead. Again.
Then space began to toll, as all the heavens were a bell.
And the beating but an ear. And I.
In silence.
Some strange race, wrecked solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke. A plank in reason broke. A plank in reason broke. And I dropped down and down and hit a world at every plunge. And finished knowing then.
Emily? 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 Are you... Remember... Emily, you must get dressed.
You haven't been out for days.
Are you ill? Do you have a fever?
No medicine, no sickness, no surgery.
Emily, look at me. Well, if you don't want to talk...
'Twas paradise to blame.
A great hope fell.
You heard no noise.
The ruin was within.
O cunning wreck that told no tale.
and let no witness in.
A not admitting of the wound.
Until it grew so wide.
That
All my life.
had entered it.
And there were troughs beside.
No, it's not. I don't know. She won't eat, won't talk, won't move.
Well, she's sick.
No. Yes. But I don't understand.
you remember, Mr. Emerson is here. He's staying at our house. We're having dinner tonight, and you are expected. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emily? Emily? Can you see? Emily, can you hear? It's me, Austin.
Suffered an exchange of territory. Or world.
Emily. 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 I wanted you to meet Emerson, your hero. But not like this. No, you can't. No, not like this.
To fill a gap. Insert the thing that caused it. Block it up with other, and 'twill yawn the more. You cannot solder an abyss with air.
No? But you got her to talk. She said something.
It's words. Words just flew out of her. They don't even feel like hers, though. You're sure she doesn't have a fever?
No, nothing.
We've lost her.
You mean...
Can't you see?
To fill the gap.
She's not there, Vinny.
Insert the thing that caused it.
I cannot believe it.
Lock it up with other.
Not a word. Do you understand, Vinny? Not a word to anyone.
You cannot
Susan.
solder this.
Invited Emerson here expressly for Emily. How am I going to explain this to Susan?
She's ill.
She's worse than ill.
And I shall have to stay and take care of her.
Benjamin Newton.
If I live, I'll go to Amherst. If I die, certainly I will. For your coronation, Emily, as a poet.
Consumption.
He taught me immortality.
My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality unveil a third event to me. So huge, so hopeless to conceive as these that twice befell. Parting is all we know of heaven, and all we need of hell.
We should have a party, Emily. A tea party. Oh, it would be good, don't you think? We could bake, we could practice the piano, and play one of our duets. Oh, it would be good for you and me to have some of our own friends here instead of just Father's trustees. Something to cheer us up. We need something to cheer us up. If not, I shall go mad talking to myself and the cats all day.
Ah, curious friend. Thou puzzlest me. You're living 300 feet away.
Oh, Susan! Wish for a visitor and we get one. Look, Emily, it's Susan. How are you? You haven't been over. I've been terribly busy. Of course, with your guests, your soirees and salons. I heard about Amherst's most gracious hostess at the grocer's yesterday. Some of us are fortunate enough to be related to you. Others are fortunate enough to grace your table.
Vinny, dear, I'm so sorry you've had the double burden here. I know it has been very difficult.
Oh, not so difficult as it is boring.
Emily, I brought something for you. Signed especially for you. Look, Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's his latest. But what have you been doing, Emily, to take care of yourself?
Nothing?
Have you been eating properly?
No.
Have you seen a doctor?
She refuses.
The last time the doctor came, she wouldn't speak to him. But that's nothing special. She hardly speaks to anyone.
Don't.
What?
Don't need it.
I have to.
Come with me. Come along. Kneel down. Feel that. Doesn't that feel wonderful? Now put it down. Press the heels of your hands into it. Good. And then fold it over. And press again. Keep going. Fold. And press. Good. That's enough. It doesn't need any more. We need you to do this every day. Knead the bread. You understand?
She won't do it. I can guarantee you she won't. She'll just sit there.
Well, she has to do something.
What?
You can't do everything for her. She has to do something. It's as simple as that.
Well, then you will just have to come and make her do it.
Send for me when the dough is ready.
Emily started to bake. As the bread rose, so did her spirits.
Her bread won first prize at the county fair. Of course, she wouldn't leave the house to collect her 60-cent prize.
If I ever win something, the whole world shall know. Very good. Now, how about an invitation to one of your soirees?
Susan, you've been to Springfield again to see Dr. Beck?
Or we can do a scene with Austin when he confronts you after one of your abortions. Susan! Oh, what beautiful flowers! Oh, I see there's some Indian pipes. Emily will like these.
I had to pick them as they won't last long in this heat.
Oh, nor will I. We've suspended all baking for the day. But I made some sun tea. Would you like some?
No, thank you. I can't stay long.
Of course not.
How is everyone?
Everyone.
How is Emily?
Emily, Susan is here!
Well, can you ask her to come down?
Emily, it's Susan. She wants to see you, not me.
Rehearsal to ourselves of a withdrawal and delight affords a bliss like murder, omnipotent, acute.
Vinny, I thought she was getting better.
She is better. She gets dressed now. And some days she even speaks. What is the news at the Evergreens?
Busy as ever.
Oh.
I was hoping I could ask you and Emily to join us one of these days.
You could ask me without Emily.
thought you were afraid to leave her.
I was, at first, but not now. Perhaps I've just become accustomed to her ways.
Come then. Come this Friday night.
I thank you.
And, if Emily sees you coming, perhaps she'll be envious.
Now, why is it that didn't feel like an invitation to me?
Susie, you will forgive me, for I never visit. Do not mind me, Susie, if I do not come with feet. In my heart I come. Talk the most and laugh the longest. Stay when all the rest have gone.
Thank you for your frequent coming and for the flowers. Thank you for your glad laugh, which I heard this morning, though I did not see you. I will keep them all until I reach my other Susie. Yes, but who is this other Susie?
To own a Susan of my own is of itself a bliss. Whatever realm I forfeit, Lord, continue me in this. Continue me in this. Continue me in this.
Victory comes late and is held low to freezing lips too rapt with frost to take it. How sweet it would have tasted just a drop. Was God so economical? His table's spread too high for us unless we dine on tiptoe.
I'm looking forward to seeing Samuel tonight.
Samuel Bowles, editor of the Springfield Republican, one of the most popular newspapers of the day, and Austin's best friend.
I assume you've invited Emily and Vinny to join us tonight. Samuel is one of the people who Emily writes to.
And would publish her poems if she would let him. And I'll invite them.
It's merely a suggestion.
I swear you care more about her than you do about me.
Susan, how can you say that?
Your cousin Perez is coming on the train with Samuel. It'll be a happy family affair.
Perez Dickinson Cowan, arriving on the train from Springfield with Samuel. I'm sorry, I don't know anything else about you. The Evergreens, 1860, after dinner in the parlor.
Oh, traveling with Samuel is like traveling with a circus. No sooner did some Democrat recognize him as editor of the Republican and the fireworks began. He was besieged with questions.
Oh, just questions. No spitballs, no fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs or no, I'm sure Samuel loved it.
Susan, Salamista par excellence. From soup to nuts perfection. You deserve the highest honor. A degree.
I'm honored that you are pleased.
More than pleased, my dear.
Satisfied?
Nearly.
Mr. Bowles, a taste of my currant wine.
From the homestead. Thank you, my little rose.
I don't know who sent that poem to your publication. It wasn't I.
No matter, it deserves to be published.
Nobody knows this little rose. It might a pilgrim be, did I not take it from the ways and lift it up to thee. No harm done, it was anonymous. You are blushing, Miss Emily.
Ah, little rose, how easy for such as thee to die.
Do we detect a slightly maudlin overtone?
Of course, it's Emily. I never get the newspaper until she's finished with the obituaries.
That's not how I read it at all. The rose understands the grace of giving up. It's a very ladylike poem.
But perhaps we shouldn't encourage this ladylike giving up.
Oh, Sam's siding with the suffragists.
As are many of us.
I'd like to see more of your poetry in our paper.
What makes you think I have more?
Well, if you don't have more, get busy. I have just learned something you shall soon read in the Republican. The author of Adam Bede.
George Eliot.
Well, by George. Adam Bede isn't by George. The author's name is Mary Ann Evans.
Adam Bede was written by a woman.
It is a fine piece of literature. It goes to show we would do well to see more pens in the hands of women.
Pens may be fine, Samuel, but the suffragists want much more than that. Eliminating the word obedience from the marriage vows, for example.
Come on now, grease spot. Does Susan really obey you?
Well, I at least like to think she does.
Right. And how much of your creative resources are corralled into making him think that?
Oh, Samuel.
I thought you ladies would be applauding. We shall not get to the millennium by parceling out the labor of life the way we have it. Women should not be consigned to fetching our slippers. We should fetch our own slippers. And women should be inducted into the ways of...
You expect them to leave the house every day? Join the ranks of men?
Come, ladies! We shall ape our fathers. Don the judge's robe, prepare the guillotine, the gallows, assign the criminal his fate.
And why not? Who better to deal with justice than a woman? The Greeks chose Athena to preside over justice.
And war.
Or better yet, let's have our mothers meddling with medicine, carving open the sick, returning home fresh from the surgery to serve up the next meal. Oh, excuse me, just a few drops of blood in the eau jus.
Why so vehement? So critical? We all have talents. Women no different from men. You've shown yours. Why should your work not be out in the world under your own name? Emily Elizabeth Dickinson, not anonymous.
You expect us to compete like racehorses or circus animals?
Ah, so that's what we men are? Racehorses and circus animals?
I think that women who want careers are a different species.
A wounded deer leaps highest. I've heard the hunter tell. 'Tis but the ecstasy of death. Then the break is still.
Emily is too high-strung for these evenings.
Vinny, go.
Samuel, I can't speak for the rest, but I am on your side. Hard to explain, but when we were younger, Emily was very keen on the suffragist movement.
Well, if the women won't champion the women's cause, there is no hope.
Emily, are you all right? You know, Austin and I, we agree with what you said, and Father too. I'm sure Father would be
Leave
proud.
me, Vinny.
Oh dear.
Mirth is the mail of anguish, in which it cautious arm, lest anybody spy the blood, and your heart exclaim.
Dear Mr. Bowles, I am much ashamed. I misbehaved tonight. I would like to sit in the dust. I fear I am your little friend no more. I am sorry I smiled at women. I shall never be giddy again.
Never, never, never. Pray, forgive me now. My friends are very few. I can count them upon my fingers, and besides have fingers to spare. Good night. God will forgive me. Will you please to try?
Forgive you for what, Emily? It is you who is wounded, not I.
I have no monarch in my life, and cannot rule myself. And when I try to organize, my little force explodes, charred and bare. Tell me what death can buy.
Room.
Escape from circumstance.
A name chiseled on a tombstone.
How much does that cost? There in my desk, I cut it from the newspaper, how much a tombstone costs. But a name, what does a name cost? Oh, to be safe in an alabaster chamber.
Untouched by morning.
And untouched by noon.
Rafter of satin.
And roof of stone.
Emily!
Yes, Father.
Do you know what time it is?
It's time, Father.
You must be mindful of your health. I can't sleep. It's because I'm thinking too much. I hope that's not the case with you. Are you thinking too much?
Yes, Father.
No rack can torture me, my soul at liberty. Behind this mortal bone there knits a bolder one. You cannot prick with saw, nor pierce with scimitar. Two bodies therefore be, bind one, the other fly. The eagle of his nest, no easier divest, and gain the sky than mayest thou. Accept thyself may be thine enemy. Captivity is consciousness. Captivity is
Consciousness, not soul is liberty. Oh, soul is liberty.
liberty, my liberty.
Captivity is consciousness, and soul is
I saw no way. The heavens were stitched. I felt the columns close. The earth reversed her hemispheres. I touched the universe, and back it slid, and I alone, a speck upon a ball, went out upon circumference beyond the dip of bell. Oh, how the dying tug till the angel comes. Master, open your life wide and take me in forever. I want to see you more than all I wish for in this world. You, Master, you. I want only you.
I am yours. You have me. Emily, you have me. Fashion me as you will.
Are you all right? Oh, Vinny, what are you doing up?
Father asked me to come in and check on you.
But he was just here.
I know. He was worried. You're still dressed.
I am still alive. Go back to bed, Vinny.
But are you all right?
It's love, Vinny. Love.
Tell me.
Not
Tell
now.
me. Oh, please.
Good night. Yes, love. I only have it not tonight, in its established place, for technicality of death, omitted in the lease.
Wild nights, were I with thee. Wild nights should be a luxury. Were I with thee. Were I with thee. Flute of the wind to a heart that
us in bowls. I speculate no more.
Love is anterior to life, posterior to death, initial of creation, and the exponent of breath.
She has a lover.
Emily, a lover.
Well, I mean, she's in love with someone and he loves her.
A man?
Who else?
Emily is in love with a man.
It's not inconceivable.
Yes, but where did she find a man?
She says he's already taken, that she can't have his love, that he's left and is no longer reachable.
Sounds like he's dead.
Austin,
Well, she loved Benjamin Newton, didn't she? He's dead.
God rest his soul. Oh, Emily did say he was her one true friend.
No, it sounds like this man she's dreaming about is married and traveling. Bowles, could it be Samuel Bowles, married?
Traveling.
No, I mean, yes, I could see Emily in love with Sam, but not Sam with Emily.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
What do you mean?
Sam is a ladies' man.
Oh, and his wife Mary's about as handsome as a porcupine. Oh, I think it might be Reverend Wadsworth.
What?
Well, he's married, and now he's living in California.
A preacher. Emily is the last holdout against conversion.
Will they write?
Often?
Well, not so frequent as fat.
Charles Wadsworth. No. What about Joseph?
Joseph Lyman? Austin, he was my... Not with Emily.
What exactly did she say to you then?
Oh, you know Emily, everything is coded and cryptic. She drops little hints like breadcrumbs in the pantry. It's more the way she stares.
She's staring again.
Oh, but this is different, completely different. At least now there's someone there staring instead of that. and she's not so
Morbid?
yes, she's, well, happy is not the word for Emily, but I tell you, there's something going on. She acts like she's in love. She's full of energy.
You think she might do something rash?
Like what?
Run after this man, try to be with him.
You think Emily is going to run away? Emily, who has barely stepped beyond the fence around our two homes. Emily is not going to elope, even if there is a man behind her stare.
Well, I tell you, there is.
Well, I tell you, I don't believe it.
A loaded gun.
My life had stood a loaded gun, corners till the day. The overpass identified carried me away. My life had stood
within the heart, police cannot suppress.
Emily, may I see you? I have a note for you from Sue.
Come in. So, I behaved badly and I wrote to Samuel apologizing, but I did not write to Sue, my pseudo-sister Sue. Now I am accused. Oh, she deals her pretty words like blades.
And wields blades like pretty words. The other day she threw knives at me.
Austin! No! Were you hurt?
Hurt? No. Quick, yes.
Dear one, I can't believe what you're telling me.
Always the skeptic.
Converted at knife point. To ache is human, but not polite. Would that we were all children again. Tell me, do I embarrass you this much too?
Oh, you, at least, I understand.
There's not enough time to hate. Life is not so ample I could finish enmity. Oh, and to think I loved her to idolatry. Have you the heart in your breast, sir? Is it set like mine, a little to the left? Has it misgivings? When the lava flows in mine, there is no stopping it.
Do your work, Emily.
To whom can I tell this? Vesuvius doesn't talk. Etna doesn't. You see why I dare not leave my room.
No matter. Do your work. And you shall reinforce yourself.
My work. My work. What is my work?
Persist. Say, it is in me and shall out. Stand there, balked and dumb, stuttering and stammering, till at last rage draw out of thee that dream power, which every night shows thee is thine own. Emerson.
Tell. As a marksman.
The smallest robe shall fit me, and just a bit of crown.
The dressmaker's here. Are you coming down?
No.
But Emily...
I know what I want.
Don't you want to see what she has first?
It's not really necessary.
She has some beautiful new fabrics from New York. Oh, there's a tweed I think would be wonderful with your hair.
Who is going to see my hair? I want white.
White? For the winter? This will be for the winter.
No matter.
You want a white dress?
Like this. Go show her that.
Why must I show her? Can't you please come down?
The soul selects her own society, and the dressmaker is not among them.
I apologize for the inconvenience. Emily is shorter and smaller in the waist, and her shoulders aren't as broad. But other than that, it should turn out just fine.
Oh, just fine.
But you know, Emily is not made for the day-to-day business of life. No, Emily's business is to think.
Ooh, think.
Yes. As for the white, well, she claims she will only wear white now.
White?
Emily is like that. She may be small, frightened, but never mind. She will not do something she does not want to do. I have to admire her for that. I do admire her for that.
Oh, sorry. So sorry.
The heart is.
The capital of the mind.
The mind is.
A single state.
The heart and the mind together make.
A single continent.
One.
Is the population.
Numerous enough.
This ecstatic nation seek.
It is yourself.
Well, I suggested a few more pleats in front, and that border there.
Oh, it's beautiful, Viginia. Thank you.
Thank you for taking such good care of me.
This world is not conclusion. A species stands beyond, invisible as music, but positive as sound. It beckons and it baffles. Philosophy don't know. And through a riddle at the last, sagacity must go. To guess it puzzles scholars. To gain it, men have borne contempt of generations and crucifixions shown. Faith slips and laughs and rallies,
blushes if any see,
Plucks at a twig of evidence,
and asks a vain the way.
Much gesture from the pulpit.
strong hallelujahs roll.
Narcotics cannot still the tooth that nibbles at the soul.